None love the dong as strong as he, they said. For 2 days in a row, back to back, he covered the dong. And he will continue to cover until the end of this part. Part 3 of daily number 654, where we're going to learn to be a better gamer, courtesy of the dong. Ooh. Let's go ahead and take a look at another game from Jaedong. It's going to be a little weird, but we're going to look at the same themes we saw in part 1 and 2. Waiting to make sure that we're going to die before we begin to build roaches, like we saw. Then flooding back with units to be aggressive. It's much more about preparing for defense rather than building a defense. And then we also saw the same theme throughout with Jaedong, building up the force for defense. And if we build up enough, we pull off some for the offense. Now I'm going to get through this, and then afterwards we're going to see a game of some that didn't work so well. And of course we'll see the same themes throughout. Blobbity blobbity blah. Derpity derpity derp. Hatch first, scouted by Jaedong. He sees the command center. I like this game because it's just a weird one. Four queens from Jaedong. Why would he build 4 queens? Why on earth would he do such a tragic thing? Because he wants to spread the creep on a map that's low on creep. Or excuse me, that's high on space. Whoa. So Jaedong is going to be doing some of the same things we saw last time. Whoa, Jaedong. Getting himself the upgrades. Where's the Overlord speed? Oh, well, Jaedong got a scout with an Overlord, so he's feeling pretty comfortable. We're seeing the same theme with the Overlords spreading themselves out, layers coming up, but don't be deceived. Jaedong, even without the Overlord speed, wants to make certain that he is still setting himself up for a very nice vision spread. Now, building some links for defense and using them to swing around is pretty common. Building a good old round of 20 links as your layers finishing up is another very common thingy. So Jaedong's going to respond in usual ways. Oh, by the way, it's a very common thingy because most Zergs want to be trying to overrun these guys. 5 queens. Why 5 queens? Because Jaedong was under some pressure, set himself up for some defense without wasting any larvae, just by burning a little bit of cash when we see the spire coming up. So these kinds of pushes from MVP, though scary, easily thwarted by the very flexible queens. Now what are we seeing Jaedong do? He's building up a force for the defense. Pour la défense. And now that he feels like he has the defense, the Zerglings that swung around the back to possibly do some aggressing are sent to do the attacking. Jaedong always does this. Army built up for defense, break a little chunk off and try to see if you can do some attacking. I want to connect it to what we saw in the first game. Remember, the first instance of this counterattack from Jaedong, there was no timing, there was no sign from his opponent. He just kind of moved forward with a force and then saw units and pulled back. It's exactly what this collection of Zerglings did. There was enough defense here, so they just went for it, and they killed off 2 things here, and then saw some units, and then just hightailed it back to where the rest of the army was. I know that's not the path that they actually took. There's just cat hair on my mouse pad, so it slid south, and I was like, whatever. So great. Jaedong's doing his usual move of droning now that he's safe. A fast 4th tends to be his most common prerogative. All these units that were made for defense, Jaedong likes to be offensive with. Oh, what do you know of 4th? Now, an early 4th is not timing based in this matchup because there's so many ways that a Terran can batter you down early. Jaedong's just getting it pretty gosh darnedly fast. So Jaedong's in this wonderful position where he has not seen MVP try to take an expansion. Jaedong's sort of waiting. This is another big trigger to allow us to attack. A 3rd. Before then, we don't really have to attack. 2 bases is very, very easy to defend. Why try to attack a really well-defended 2 bases. Wait till he's got 3. See that Overlord speed coming up? I mean, we've got an excellent amount of vision. We're even moving some more up to the top side. But nothing beats Overlord speed, man. Nothing. Where is that? I was wondering where that medevac was. Alright, let's watch Jaedong's camera. Most of the time, people would say that the Mutalisks are the most common way for a Zerg to be aggro. Everything else has got to stay back. We've seen Jaedong do the exact opposite. Use the Mutalisks not nearly as much as his Ling Baneling for counterattack. We're seeing the same tools coming up. We're seeing a little bit of burrow in action. We're seeing the Overlord speed spreading out vision. Look at him gobbling up all that vision. The big attack is beginning to mount forward. Here's Jaedong building up a lot of forces for the defense. As we talked about, an extremely scary build from MVP. But wait, we built up all those units for defense, and no attack came, so let's go ahead and send some Zerglings in. Nice. And you know what? We've built up a lot of units for defense, and no attacks coming. Let's really begin this attack. Same concept. Big chunk of units for la défense, and then using small chunks broken off to do the countering. This is just a tough situation for Jaedong, but we can still see that it's a very positive one for him. The usual pullbacks. What's nice here is that this is traditionally horrific for a Zerg player. This is generally regarded as like the worst thing that would ever happen in a Zerg player's life. But this is only because Jaedong had this chunk of units away killing off the 3rd. And then he comfortably pulls back. So sure, Jaedong lost his full army and lost a couple of hatches. Probably going to be, I believe, 2 here. And then Jaedong just waltzes up and easily wins the game. And because there's no 3rd base, there's really no way that MVP can macro to stay toe-to-toe with Jaedong, who's at 3 bases. And generally the Terran's running very low in his main here. So yeah, there's the good game. Nice. Whew. This is the scary part. Hit and quit. What's going to happen? Alright, we're good. What I'm going to do is look at, what's the other game I wanted to see? Ah, that's right. Game 3. On Belchir Vestige. This map is rather hard to set up the counterattack on. And we'll see a little bit why as this game goes on. It has to do with where Zerg positions the 4th and where Terran positions the 3rd. Zerg's got a 4th here or here. Most of the time it's here. Part of me, though, kind of wants to have it be here more. I don't know if I have an opinion. We're going to speed through it so we can take some questions. Hell yeah. Voilà le don. Avec les queens pour la défense. Il y a deuxième Reaper. I don't know what Reaper is. I gotta work on my French. I really do. Although Swedish is just like a beautiful language. I might dip into some Swedish. Doesn't matter. Let's look at the same themes that we saw from the last games. Why is this extra queen coming up out of Jaedong? Because he spotted the starport coming up here. Big queen defenses in the mid game. Jaedong tends to try to avoid it if you look at him historically, but damn it, kitties. The casters rub their faces on my mouse pad because it's like kind of a soft texture for their faces and they like it. But I mean, Jaedong just smacks Maru in his underaged head right there. Easy queen defense, Zerglings get thrown away, and you know what? Not a lot of larva was spent to be able to set up la défense. There's small adjustments we're seeing Jaedong make, like a much faster spire. against a Hellion Banshee player. A much later pair of Evo Chambers against a Hellion Banshee player. A lot of drones being lost. That's something we haven't seen him do earlier. But it converges back to the same setting. We're going to come back to the Dong cam. Jaedong keeping a spotter on the third. If we go ahead and look at the upgrades, the only one that has gone down is the metabolic boost. Jaedong even getting behind on his 1-1 upgrades. Gasp. We are aghast. I think that's one of his biggest hurting factors. I almost would have preferred the delay of the mutas and the gain picked up by going for the early upgrades. It's pretty consistent. I think there's nothing wrong with doing that every time. Pneumatized Carapace coming out early as well. So here's where Jaedong, this game is going to be an example of when things go wrong with the style of the Dong. This moment right here showcases why Belshir Vestige is a particularly good map for Terrans against Zergs. Because of this base is a third. I know that you will see... Fuck me. Come on, kitties. Like, I can literally see twirled cat hair on there, and I'm like trying to get it off. Where's Sabin? Come on. Come here, let me show you this cat. Come here. Come here, you're right there. No, not Edgar. Hi, Edgar. Come here, Sabin. Look, I'm petting your brother. Aren't you envious? Do you care? Don't look away from me. Yeah, get over here. Yeah, that's right. Oh, shit. I inspired envy in a cat. No, come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. And look at this cat. Look at the fur on this cat. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, you're purring so hard. Your hairs are so long. Yeah. Hi. Hey, Sabin. Oh, my God. Don't you love my mouse pad? Is that my water? Is that my water? What's it? What is that? What is... Oh, that's my keyboard. You can't eat that. Oh my god. I really love this cat, you know? I was telling Tristan that I had a good day, but I like did a lot, so my brain's kind of drained. And, you know, I was like, gosh, I hope I have enough energy for the daily. And he's like, dude, just show the cats and you'll get way more viewers than a regular show. Oh, look, he loves it. He loves this so hard. Dude, this cat is awesome. I love you so much, Simon. Is that the chicken pot pie? Let's smell it. Yeah, fuck you too. So so we look at the mini-map and we can see exactly why this is a very strong shape in this matchup. In terms of angles of attack, we have one right here that goes into our main, and not really any others, because here is not really an attack point, it's like a joint. Like here, there's nothing vulnerable, it's not like an attack can swing in here. I mean, defending from the left side is functionally the same as defending from above, and if we just rally to this expansion, we're fine. So I mean, think of the possible attack angles for Jaedong. I mean, maybe Mutalisks over here, but like Lings and Banelings can't quite sneak in there. Mutalisks have a very long path to go around. Just look at my mouse cursor. Look at how long the area is from edge to edge if we wanted to say harass over here versus harass in there. And then look at the defending angle. Much shorter. It's just very hard. Very, very hard. And, you know, with the loss of 17 drones, it's obviously going to hurt Jaedong. He's still building a lot more Lings and Banelings. He likes to be as aggressive as possible before his transitions. He's not going... Look, he's not exactly fast mutas. It's just a big switch to mutas. Oh, Jesus, I'm so low on time. Sabin, you consumed all my time. But I love you so much. You're so soft. Oh, my God. Dude, let me just tell you something. Sabin does not care what you do to him. He just purrs. I have seen Tristan sit down at his computer and Sabin's nearby, and Tristan just reaches down, grabs the cat's foot, and just pulls. And the cat's just like, just be like being dragged across the ground. He just like doesn't care. He's like, this is the most interesting thing that's happened all day. And just starts petting him, picks him up and pets him. And the cat's like, ugh, and just lies down. Oh, God. Let me see if I hold a hand down I can get another cat. I love petting cats so much. It makes me like fun. There's like a fundamental happiness to cat petting. Alright. The formations on this map just kind of stinkers. Pour la défense. So, I mean, we're going to see Jaedong build up his same big old force. He's getting a relatively swift third. And the counterattacks don't quite function as well on this map because of obvious reasons. Like, it's a pretty simple rally point, and it's just very easy to defend. I mean, a single mine and a bunker were more than enough to shut this down. The counter's really got to function with some relationship to the third base. That you're hitting his third, but he can't defend because he's rallying in an opposite direction. I think the Lings would have been better off here just in this game. And that's not to say that playing defensively is strictly bad. We've seen BL do things like plant 4 or 5 spine crawlers here. This is kind of a long thought, but I'll say it anyways. In the late game, Terrans do this with their Marines. Pre-spread for Banelings and send forward an assault crew. So suddenly in the late game, 5 spine crawlers is actually great. It's actually really strong because he's only moving forward with 6 or 7 Marines. To break down 5 spine crawlers, he's got to bring like 15, 20 Marines? And that's when the Banelings get strong. So I think that, you know, on a map like this, throwing down all the spine crawlers right there is going to be very strong. Building some spine crawlers right here is going to be very strong. And we're seeing just over time how few opportunities there are. It's a small map. Terran has the nicest, easiest defense in the world. Look at that, even building a sensor tower in the middle of everything. It's just a brutal butt pain. You know, we could watch the rest of this, but I mean, it's just a slow death. Let's take questions. Tyler 4951 says, Dana, what software do you use to stream XSplit? And I recommend it over all other softwares. Okay. Oh, Control Zerg says, you said it was rare for Jaedong to make defensive units, which implies there are some circumstances in which he does make those defensive units. What are some of those circumstances? What triggers Jaedong to make units with his larva? So to note what Control Zerg is referencing, we're looking at part 1 where we saw the Terran go for Blue Flame Hellion production, and in that map, Jaedong built a roach warren and 5 queens, but then didn't build any roaches, just waited and waited and waited and waited. So an example of Control Zerg's question would be, when would you make roaches? Because in that game, Jaedong didn't make them. I would say that if your opponent keeps building the Blue Flame Hellions, so here's the way that a normal, reasonable Terran player plays. Because a normal, reasonable Terran says, I'm going to surprise him with Blue Flame Hellions, and by the time he has held them off, I will have a follow-up prepared. So he will get his reactor factory, get his tech lab factory, get the blue flame and a bunch of Hellions, and then lift and move them and give those to barracks to begin marine production. And then our Terran hero will begin making mines, or sometimes tank mine in that sort of circumstance. So most Zergs will respond by overbuilding roaches to defend the Hellions, and then losing because the Terran player has already transitioned away, already has the defense up against roaches, and is winning on economy. Jaedong, on the other hand, built up a lot of drones because there were only 10 Hellions and no more. And then went, oh, no more Hellions coming, all right, cool, more and more and more drones. So the circumstance, to finally answer Control Zerg's question, what is the circumstance where you would want to make those roaches fast? If you just kept seeing Hellions come in. And Jaedong has hedged for this by virtue of already having a drone in play as natural for the wall off. He's sort of prepared this by already retreating his drones home to his natural expansion, so he can't get roasted anymore. Radical Prime says, Day 9, can you write a lovely poem about Jaedong? Yes. If you type the first line of a limerick, I'll finish it as fast as I can. I'm waiting. Radical Prime, give me the first line in a limerick. And why do I use a green screen? Because I'm in San Francisco. But I like my room. Alright. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for him. I'm waiting. Oh. There once was a Zerg named Jaedong, whose dick was incredibly long. He played every day and won every way, so his win streak was 40 games long. Shit, I rhymed along with long. Ah! There once was a Zerg named Jaedong, whose dick was incredibly long. He used it for glory, killed nerds in a way that was gory, and allowed me to sing this great song. Alright. Yes, once he was 40 games strong, I could have said that. 40 games strong. The second line is the important one. Such limerick. Wow. Very amazed. Alright, let's take another one. From Workgar says, you spoke of good overlord spread as an essential to preparing the defense. Is there an instance where you would not want to have overlords, or where you not want to have overlords pooping creep? Why don't more players do this? I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know. I just never really occurred to me. Poop creep, man. More creep, always, all the time. Very creep. Wow. Who's on Spell Slingers this week? Delisha Faye. Let's take one more question that has nothing to do with StarCraft. From Andrej. Dan, are you going to play in the Heart Nation Hearthstone tournament? I'm trying to find a Hearthstone tournament to play in, to be honest. I don't have any, like, good times because my life is packed with events. Over winter break, I'm probably going to do a lot of that. I'm hoping so. I'd like to once again remind everyone that I'm going to be beginning Wednesday Hearthstone, the midweek Hearthstone Daily, where I'm going to be figuring out how to do a Hearthstone Daily because of popular demand. Good night. I'm going to go to Battlegrounds. You are amazing, amazing. Oh my God, you're amazing. Sing. You are cuddly. Cats play with strings. Do 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 do.